Hey, how's it going? My name's Alex. I want to talk about in this video the 4 mistakes I made when I got a cash infusion into my small business, or you could almost call it a startup. Well, I'm kind of a startup, but not really. But let me tell you about these 4 mistakes. I want to give you these 4 things that I learned right up front, and then I'll explain them throughout the video. Okay. Number 1, no hardware. Number 2, no software. Number 3, really poor timing. Number 4, unrealistic expectations. And when you boil them down, it's like, well, duh. But guys, don't forget, I'm 28. This is my first actual business, and I'm trying to grow this thing. So obviously there's going to be mistakes. So bear with me. Let me explain what each of them mean. All right. So first up is no hardware. Let me explain. Guys, I'm in a trucking business, or I am a trucking business. Hardware is the trucks, the trailers, right? The first mistake that I made was no trucks or trailers. And not only that, on top of that is no physical space, no location, nowhere to park, nowhere to store tools, nowhere, like nothing, literally nothing physical. That's why I say no hardware, because I had nothing. I was parking trailers at my house. I was servicing them in my driveway. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. That is by far a big mistake. That is a huge mistake that I made by starting a trucking company with no location and no trucks or trailers, right? Second mistake, though, is no software. Guys, this is a massive problem for small companies. They don't have all of the things automated, right? I don't know how to take on drivers. I don't know how to store documents, how to automate dispatching, how to automate, load finding, all this stuff. I had no software in place to connect my team, to make sure we're all on the same page. No software in place whatsoever, tracking invoices, all this stuff. But basically, number 2 is no software, no way to run or manage the company. So that's a huge mistake with my cash infusion. Number 3, poor timing. Believe it or not, there was COVID, there was coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, in all of 2020. And unfortunately, I decided it would be a bright idea to start to grow my trucking company during that time, where there was delays for equipment, where there was not enough, there's okay freight. The freight was really spotty, to be honest, but still, it was just during a time where it was absolutely ridiculous. To my understanding, in my 28 years, I haven't seen anything like this before. There was the 2008, how old was I? I don't know, pretty young. But still, 2008 was a little different. That was like a housing crash versus this is a whole economy, everybody stays home crash. So it was, really, really poor timing. And actually, I found this video. I want to play a clip for you guys about an investor who's invested in multiple companies. Here's what he literally said the number 1 problem is.
And I looked across all 100 Idea Lab companies and 100 non-Idea Lab companies to try and come up with something scientific about it. So first, on these Idea Lab companies, the top 5 companies, CitySearch, Cars Direct, GoTo, NetZero, Tickets.com, those all became billion-dollar successes. And the 5 companies on the bottom, Z.com, Insider Pages, My Life, Desktop Factory, People Inc., we all had high hopes for, but didn't succeed. So I tried to rank across all of those attributes how I felt those companies scored on each of those dimensions. And then for non-Idea Lab companies, I looked at wild successes like Airbnb and Instagram and Uber and YouTube and LinkedIn, and some failures, Webvan, Cosmo, Pets.com, Flues, and Friendster. The bottom companies had intense funding. They even had business models in some cases, but they didn't succeed. I tried to look at what factors actually accounted the most for success and failure across all these companies, and the results really surprised me. The number 1 thing was timing. Timing accounted for 42% of the difference between success and failure.
And last but not least, number 4, unrealistic expectations. I don't know why I thought I could stretch $150,000 like it was $1.5 million. I have no idea why I thought that, but I actually thought that with $150,000, I'd be able to put that money into the business and not have to go back out on the road. And so, because that's all I want to do. I just want to get off the road. But ultimately, it didn't work out because, mismanagement of funds and I would say unpreparedness, which is the poor timing, right? And so it's like, you look back and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, that was pretty dumb. But I am where I am today because of that money and because of the way I spent it. And so in reality, it's like, can I say that it was bad decision making? Absolutely not, because I've learned a lot from it. And the business is now doing really, really well compared to when that money came in. So overall, it is, I did have unrealistic expectations on how far or how long it would last or what I'd be able to accomplish with it. But, you know, that's, I think, human nature. You tend to overestimate your skills and abilities and whatnot. So I would say I'm basically not any different in that regards. But, you know, the reason, what happened, or I should say, is I really started to panic probably about 2 months ago. Like, I was really started freaking out. Funds are going low and I got to hit the road. I don't want to hit the road. And so what I started doing is I actually started talking to my drivers. I'm like, hey, you guys, if you can find a new job, you should. And I started laying off the drivers. I had to lay off the dispatcher. And unfortunately, it was just one of those situations where it's like, you know, that was a mistake, a premature mistake. Looking back at it now, a premature mistake that I made. All because I just didn't want to go on the road. And so now that I am back on the road, it's not that bad, actually. I don't mind being out on the road. So now we're trying to build back up, take what we've learned from there, from these 4 places, and we're trying to go from there. And that's what it leads me to the first step. First thing is no hardware, right? So now I am super focused on getting only the correct equipment. I'm not touching another single trailer unless it's exactly what I want. I'm not touching another single truck unless it's exactly what I want. And as you can see behind me, we are in some new space. There's going to be a video coming about this. So, I absolutely love it, but it's a great space. And the software, like I said, I'm working on Airtable that I will be giving to you guys so you guys can see what I did. And really, 2021 looks to be better than ever. He said sarcastically. So we'll see about that. But anyways, I think my expectations are a little bit more realistic now. We're going to try to slowly build it up. You know, we got a truck and trailer on the way. So things are going really good. But I just want to give you guys this quick update on the issues that I had as a small business, as a startup, when I got a small cash infusion. Now, the main issue though, or the reason I freaked out, I should say, is, you know, I started really crunching the numbers, and the numbers don't make sense in trucking. They really don't. So I'm hoping, because I'm vertically integrating, that they will make a little more sense, because I am a broker now, I am the carrier now, and I have the YouTube channel for marketing or advertising, and then I have, you know, my website for drivers, recruitment, stuff like that. So I'm hoping by vertically integrating in the trucking business, I will be able to do a little bit better. But make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for that. I break down my month's revenues every month, and you know, we'll see how it goes, or we'll see how it works out. And I'll make sure to do another video like this a year or so from now, maybe when the company grows, or what mistakes I've learned since this video. So anyways, make sure you're staying tuned for that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hey, really quick, I just want to add right here at the end that in my previous video that I have now taken down, I said that I'm getting a cancellation because of 5 Freightliners, and I want to say I apologize, because that was the information that I received from the underwriter. But I also want to say thank you, because when I uploaded that video, some of you commented, hey, double check with insurance because something seems wrong, and that is exactly the case. That information was incorrect, and so the underwriter, the more knowledgeable one, said that like something there must have been some kind of miscommunication or misunderstanding, or incompetence, I guess. That is certainly not the case. There is no 5 Freightliners, so everything is okay. And so that's why I had to quickly take down that video, because I didn't want to spread essentially incorrect information that I received incorrectly. So I just want to apologize, and I want to say thank you.